keeps disappearing. I can't see your lovely face.
There you are. We're both very pretty. We're both on screen. Now let me spam this stupid link.
Is it going to be like last time we were on
Yes.
Hangouts and it's only your face for the entire time?
Well, it is switching between us, so hopefully that
Fair.
bodes well.
Are we
Mute
live?
all
Is that
my fucking. I think we are. I mean, it's been a while since we've done this, so. Part-time excellent.
All I know is anyone who catches an archive of this, like, you missed out on some good foot fetish conversation. That's all I'm going to say.
It's true. It's going for a good long time. Oh, it's something else.
We've been pre-showing for an hour and a half now. You missed out on a lot, people.
He's not wrong. There's a lot of gold in there.
Yep, now it's be a real boring show.
Is there anything you want to generally talk about while I spam out the link?
No. There's no one here. Let's just sit in silence.
That's fine. It's fine by me. Whatever you want to do. World's your oyster. I'm just here to party with it.
Ew. Oh no. You can't say that. That's gross. Party with these oysters. Ugh.
There wasn't any news that you want to talk about?
I don't know. Do you think I remember anything?
I mean, you're pretty bad at that. The whole remembering thing.
It's true.
Let me look. I'm sure I can pull up something that you want to talk about.
I forget stuff so quick anymore. Like, I was talking to my buddy, and he was like, I can't even remember the conversation I had now. He was like, I'm reading so-and-so. And I was like, I'm reading, I don't know. I just started it last night. And like 4 hours later, I was like, Black Panther. I was reading Black Panther. Remembered now.
Yeah, that seems to be how our conversation has been going this evening already.
So yeah, I don't think that
Star Wars 9 is getting Blade Runner's art director.
I literally just sent that to fuck with you.
Those sons of bitches. I know, but it's like I know you're excited for 9, and I'm just along for the ride at this point because 8 was all right.
You fucking shut your mouth.
But since they took some Blade Runner people, now I've got to be on it. So
such a fucking mark.
What?
Yeah, it's like, oh, Blade Runner people, I gotta like it now.
Well, listen, I don't care. I don't give a shit about JJ.
Why? He gave you the best TV show of the past 25 years.
He gave me 5 out of 6 best seasons of the best show in 25.
All these people are like, have you seen The Wire? No. Have you seen season 6 of Lost? That's my question in turn.
Nobody likes that 6th season.
I do.
At all. Well, you're wrong.
I
just want you to know that.
Locke's rolling around being like, listen, I got mystical powers now. You want to fuck with me? And then him and Jack have a fist fight. The embodiment of evil has a fist fight with a doctor on a beach. That's how the show ends.
What a shit show.
So good.
What a fucking shit show. What a shit season. That's 6th season. Without that, it's a pretty good series.
With that, it's a really good series.
Real bad. Yeah, it looks like that was it, besides the Tarantino and his Manson project.
Which no one wants to talk about.
Sure.
There's a part of me that, like I'm cool. Like, I actually kind of like the concept, but I understand people being like, no, it's too soon to do a revisionist history of this. Because, like...
Okay, the thing about it is I like Robert Pattinson as an actor. I think he's a great actor. The problem is he gets not great roles.
No, he does get really good stuff. Like, you're just, what, Twilight? Is that what you're going to base it on?
No, it's that. This movie we watched was good. It felt like he didn't have enough to do. It feels like he's moving along to the ranks where he could be like a Ryan Gosling, but he's just like that Twilight weight is a pretty fucking heavy one to get rid of.
I don't think so. I think he's done admirable. Him and Stewart both have just been like, we made our money on this and our name, and now we get to do whatever we want. Like, fucking
Fair.
Pattinson went off. He's done like 2 movies with Cronenberg. He's worked with Werner Herzog. Like, he's doing deep cut filmmaking, you know?
Touche. I'll give you that one. I don't know. It's hard to associate anybody with Manson because, like, that's going to be a pretty tough. You don't want him to do good with that role because I don't think anybody should, but I'm sure he could play that lunatic role well, which
It'll
is
be
the scary
interesting.
thing.
I'm more interested in who decides they want to play fucking Roman Polanski in that film.
Oh, yeah?
Because that'll be a bold choice.
Bolder than Manson.
Yeah.
I think they're on par.
Manson is at least dead, whereas Polanski is hiding to avoid rape charges.
You get that. Look at that. You're just racking up points now. So, did you watch everything for this week?
You know this. We've been talking for an hour and a half.
Yeah, but the people out there don't know it. I'm just helping them out.
Tell these people, no, I did not. I didn't watch one fucking TV show. That's it. Sorry.
You fucked up. You fucked up, son. Everything was great this week.
Was The Alienist good?
Yeah.
I obviously didn't get to see it. Is it getting weird yet?
What?
I need it to be weird.
It's on the cusp. I think next one's going to get really weird.
See, that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for this turn. You got to give me something, show. Get weird.
It's fair. So we watched that. Electric Dreams, Black Lightning, Mosaic are the shows. Movies were Good Time, When We First Met, Coherence, and then Black Panther, which smashing records right now. I think last total it was like 225 maybe.
I don't know. It's the 5th highest opening, 2nd highest Marvel opening.
It's crazy. Wild and awesome. So, let's get into TV shows. Do you think Electric Dreams has warranted our final 4 show watchings?
Nope.
You didn't like this episode at all?
What?
Did you like this episode at all?
No, you're gonna hear a lot of contradicting talk from me this week, so I'm just gonna start right here. I think maybe it is the same problem I had with Punisher, whereas, like, guess what I don't want to see right now? A show where pieces of shit politicians are using a tragedy at a school to propagate their own lies and control the government. Don't want to see that after a school shooting in Florida on Friday, where everyone's using NRA.
Yeah, that was real tough. I think that was the first thing. Like, as soon as the episode started and like they were doing the patting the students down, I was like, I really hope it doesn't go in that direction. It definitely did.
It did. I mean, not to the point where there was any tragedy, but to the point where, like, the government is falsifying tragedy to propagate their own ideas and restrictions upon people. Cool. Good concept. It was, out of the last 4 episodes or whatever, I think it's the best, like, concept. I just didn't want to see that. Like, that's the relevance I don't want to see right now. And I thought the Dumont at the end was very heavy-handed. Like, I got it. Like, as soon as he took her off stage,
when they showed everything.
Yeah, like that just kind of was like, I got it when he walked up and took her off stage and it was him. I understood then. I
Yeah,
didn't
like
need
you
you
could
to.
hear the voice, and it's like, oh yeah, you completely fucked this family over. Like, real cool of you.
Yeah, and then I didn't need him to be like, now we're gonna show you every way that we've like. I got it. Like, trust in your story that you don't need to show me that.
Yeah, so we're done watching Electric Dreams then?
I think for the show, like, there's a chance I might finish them, like catch an episode here or there, and you can go ahead and finish and tell me. But like at this point,
I'm not.
I don't want to commit to it.
It's exactly what you just said. Like, they don't trust their stories enough that I don't want to be led along. So I'm all right with ditching it.
Yay!
Real cute.
I'll just look at it this way. Like, I watched that episode today, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. And I've quit far better shows in the course of us doing this, so it doesn't hurt me to quit this.
Right on. What'd you think of Black Lightning then?
I like it. I think the show came out so strong with that pilot that now it's kind of like it's not quite found its footing as episodic storytelling. It kind of it's nebulous at the moment. It's not cohering the way I kind of hoped it would. But I still like the majority of it.
I'm right there with you too. This week felt like it knows where it wants to get, but it doesn't know how to get there. So it's kind of like stuck in the mud a little bit. But I mean, it's still enjoyable. It felt very awkward because like it was throwing just random things, like he can fly now, but that caused him to be aggressive, and like it was shorting his circuits out, and it's really not explained how his power works, but his suit is.
Yeah, because like he uses his powers when he's not in the suit. I just felt the suit was like a way to channel it, but with this capacitor going wrong, it's like affecting him biologically. I'm not quite sure. But I'm also not sure what the fuck Gamby's doing, and I need them to fucking tell me who this man is and what he's doing.
So Gamby deleted, I'm pretty sure he deleted footage of Tobias a few episodes back.
Sure, but why is he not telling?
Working with him, yeah. It's
because like if the whole point of him was
all over the place.
If he was like, I need Black Lightning to come back because he's been for like 3-4 episodes now, would have been real easy to just be like, hey, Tobias didn't die, he's still alive, and that would have brought Black Lightning back real quick. That said, Tobias is an immortal? Question mark.
Yeah, there's a lot of more questions than answers right now, and it's kind of frustrating because it feels like they're stuck in the mud, but at the same point, I feel like it's fallen into that Netflix where it's got too many episodes for its own good.
I don't know that there's too many episodes. I think it's just they don't know. Like I said, I just don't think they know how to tell the episodic story yet. Like it's just I don't know. It's just there's some weird stuff. Like I honestly like when they do like the previously on. I swear 9 out of 10 times it's like that didn't happen last episode. I did not see that. And then like and they're just cutting like narrative corners. They're like, "Oh, you moved back in with your parents. When did that happen? Why did that happen? Why are you gonna explain like you obviously had your own pretty nice looking apartment you shared with your girlfriend. Did you guys break up? Is that why you moved back in? Explain this to me, show."
And now you just want to start digging deeper into your genealogy.
Instead, we get a montage of her shopping for a superhero outfit, wherein the cashier knows she's a superhero.
Yeah. Like I said, more questions than answers, but still enjoying it immensely. I'm excited to see how the suit straightens out and how she becomes more of a superhero. It looks like she's going to take some matters into her own hands coming up here soon. Now that she put on her super suit to go look at a storage locker.
Yeah. Whereas, like, it's so weird. Like, she's in her 20s, yet the papers her grandfather wrote look like they came from the 1800s. They were all like rotted out paper. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see how that whole crime syndicate like comes together and whatnot. So
yeah, because like I don't know, it seems like instead of focusing on Tobias as like the main villain, they're already trying to set up the people behind him. Whereas I don't feel Tobias is going to be resolved until the end of the season. So I think they're looking too far ahead, maybe.
Yeah, I get that. Alienness was pretty good, even though you didn't watch it. They kind of gave Dracula back his notebook that they found.
Who gave it back?
The captain, like the one under Roosevelt, like kind of just tossed it on Roosevelt's desk and was like, hinted that he knew what the hell was going on and they better cut that shit out.
Well, why? How does that work? It was the killer who took it.
No. The killer took the latest drawing out of the top, but left the notebook.
Silly.
And the notebook was monogrammed with Dracula's initials. So they found out that the killer climbs shit.
Yeah, he's
with like picks, and that's how he stole that drawing. Yeah, a bunch of other things like just starting to branch out, so we get some stranger shit happening down the road. So looking forward to it.
How many episodes do you think before we get a parkour chase? Like them going after this killer who likes to climb?
2. Probably 2.
And
I think we get some strange shit next episode, and then they get a chase. The one after that.
And then do you think said parkour chase will be like Casino Royale, where Dracula's just running through the walls down below?
I hope so. That's all I hope for now. That's all I want. And then Mosaic. How'd you dig that? Because you got really caught up on 2 episodes, right?
Yeah, but not much happened in the episode before. It was setting up like the sister coming in and trying to figure out what's going on because she doesn't believe her brother's guilty. It's weird because I feel like, again, in the first episode, in the first scene, they lay it out being like, Joel, you're guilty. We're coming for you. So I don't believe that he's actually guilty. Yet they're spending these 2 episodes setting him up to seem guilty.
Which I think probably the next couple, they might focus more on...
There's only 2 left.
No, there's 8. This is a halfway point.
There's 6.
You're wrong.
No, you're wrong.
I'm checking right now. I'm pretty sure there's 8. Please be 8. Please be 8. But yeah, it felt like they were getting to the moment where they were going to confront him. Yeah, there's 6. Like I told you. So, so it'll be interesting. I think they're going to probably look at the gardener because the one sister noticed that painting that was obviously stolen from the property, I guess.
Was it, or I just took it as like it was like a heirloom from our grandmother in Mexico. Like I didn't think it was anything besides like it's worth something, and you don't know what you have.
No, I could definitely see that it was something that was stolen that probably relates to one of
the way they talked. What was in the safe was money and her original artwork. Because he was looking for people.
Yeah, but if it was the gardener that found her, I mean, it would be real easy to grab a few paintings or whatever, and then just.
Again, though, they said it was her art. like her original art that she drew, not an original painting from someone.
But I mean, she still had plenty of paintings and stuff around the house and stuff.
I don't know. I don't buy that.
Because she was a connoisseur.
I don't think she was. I think she was a fake connoisseur.
It's possible. I mean, I'm sure we'll find out for sure in the next episode.
Sure.
But I'm digging it still. I think next episode is going to be of laying out very closely to who they think who done it, and then 6th episode will just fucking hang a left and just completely blindside us. So
I literally have no idea.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
I'm along for the ride. Either way.
Yeah.
So, talking about the movies now, how great was When We First Met?
How much did you love it? Because I know you did, because you told me to watch it.
I didn't love it, but I like the concept. It felt like Happy Death Day, but on a better note.
Which is horseshit. Because, like, even just the other day on Facebook, one of our mutual friends was like, I'm watching it, and you laid off how much you hate that movie because she doesn't change. But she does. She changes just as much as this fuckhead does.
Yeah, but Happy Death Day was shit.
No, it was way. Happy Death Day was 100 times better than this. Like, I didn't enjoy this movie.
It caught me off guard. I figured it was just gonna be like a Groundhog Day, where he was just trying to woo her as many times as possible.
Which immediately, like, I'm off put by the concept of that.
Yeah. Nowadays, I mean, I don't think Groundhog Day would work in this climate anymore.
I think Groundhog Day works. It still works because it has a nihilistic streak to it. Like, I don't feel there reaches a point where, like, he's just like, I'm done. I want to die. And through the charm of what I become, I learned to want to live more. Whereas this is just this dude being like, I gave it my best shot. I laid out exactly who I am, and we had a connection, but it wasn't anything more than a friendship. Now I need to go and lie to this woman and try and change her mind and repeatedly fuck up her life to make me feel better.
I mean, yeah, when you put it like that, it's a real bad movie.
Yeah, right? And then, does he learn anything? Not really. It's just no, he learns that. No, he learns I had a chance
that he should be himself.
Yeah, instead it's like, I be selfish this whole movie, and my change of heart is that I was in love with the wrong person, and now I get to be in love with them. It's not a good character.
No, I think... No. He grew the way that he was trying new things. He put himself out there, different scenarios, and what he realized is that he was his best form in the first original, just being himself, but he didn't realize the other things that were happening around him that he should have been taking note of.
I still don't buy it. I think it's a gross movie at
times. It was an all right movie. I made a note to everything else we watched.
Sure.
I mean, I'd put it on the background. I don't think I'd be like, if you're looking for a date movie, pick this one up, but tossing on in the background is fine.
I don't know. Like, I folded laundry during it. That's how much I was not having this. I don't fold laundry.
It's fair. So, let's talk about Good Time first.
Okay, because you did not like it. Oh, no, you liked everything this week. It's really easy for me to gauge your opinion.
I did like it. There was very awkward moments, obviously, with the
teenage
daughter.
Girl.
Yeah. Like, at that, it was like, just don't go down this path. And, like, I get why you do it, but then he came in and I'm the wrong fucking person that he thought was his brother. Like, what in literally a series of unfortunate events kicked off by a bank robbery that just went awry.
Yes. And then it just keeps going downhill.
It's like he keeps getting away to dig himself deeper and dig himself deeper, and it's like maybe he'll just keep digging himself out or digging himself that he just gets away. And that doesn't seem to be the case.
I think there's an interesting point. Like, it's a movie that it's very simplistic and everything's told very subtly to the point they don't make mention of a lot of things, but to the point of like he keeps digging himself in, but the way he gets out is through manipulation of people of color and our perception of them as who are we going to trust? This at one point 16-year-old black girl or this creepy ass looking guy who we've seen do creepy shady shit, but everyone gives him the benefit of the doubt because white guy versus person of color. Happens throughout it. In the bank robbery, they wear masks that make them look black. When he escapes from the hospital, he takes advantage of a black bus driver who the police are then questioning. Uses the young girl seemed black, but the grandmother didn't, so I'm not sure where that was. Then, they escape the amusement park by placing the blame on the black security guard. Like, it's a series of like manipulating minorities and people of color to get away with our own horseshit as white people.
See, that's I didn't even notice all of that. Like, it just felt like he was just kept fucking up and fucking up and fucking up, and like, yeah, seeing all that other shit now, it's like, yeah, this movie's crazy.
Yeah. It's just a series of bad decisions that just keep being belied by more bad decisions. And it's a weird point of where like Pattinson is charming enough to get away with it, but you can just see that fucking dead stare in his eyes of like, I'm using you. You don't know I am. I know I am. And I'm a step ahead of you because I'm a piece of shit. It's really good internalized acting. It's not showy.
Yeah. Yeah, and what we were talking about earlier, like, I think he could be on the level of Gosling or like Kylo Ren. I can't think of his goddamn name right now. But like, I think those three are like the best actors for our generation right now.
Wow, you throw Hadley in there?
Listen, I want to see better roles from him. I think he's a great actor. I just want to see something that connects.
Fair.
Like he was great in this role. It was just the role itself was just a little underhanded, I guess.
I don't know. I thought it was a well-written role. Like I said, it's not showy. Like the obvious abuse by family members that these two brothers went through is never really expounded upon, but you can see the hurt there, and that's why. And when you reach that point of like, he's doing this for his brother, but why? And it's ambiguous enough that is he using him? Does he really care about him? Does he feel he needs to protect him? Like, where does it lay in the line of how he uses people?
Mm-hmm. This would be a good, like, back when we worked at Blockbuster, like, this would be the one title, like, people would probably skim over, and, like, after they've watched everything else, like, this would be the recommendation. I'd be like, try this one out, see if you like it.
So it'd be the one that, like, it'd be the recommendation of our Blockbuster days where I was like, you should watch this, and then they return it an hour later and be like, fuck you, why'd you tell me to watch this?
Yeah, but like, you fucked up, and then I'd recommend it like 2 days later, and they'd be like, "This is good," and I was like, So yeah, good movie. I dug it, but like I said, it was a little awkward at points.
It has that the New York of film has become sanitized the same way New York itself has, like, since like Giuliani decided to clean up Times Square and stuff. like you don't see that underbelly, whereas like this movie's just dirty. Like it's just grit. It reminds me of like, it feels like a 70s fucking Scorsese Taxi Driver New York. It's just in between everything, like the aesthetic, the lighting choices, what's obviously a low end camera shot very grainy. Like it just gives you that cool 70s fucking gritty feel that makes it more tactile than and this kind of like sterile feeling from like blockbuster movies now.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a good point that you bring up Taxi Driver. Like it feels like the midnight version of that. So since all this happens at night, and Taxi Driver primarily takes place during the day, doesn't it?
He drives a taxi at night.
Yeah, but all the stuff like when he's fucking posing at the house, like all that shit's during the day, and like the end scenes and during the day.
No, the end scene's when he shoots up that fucking drug house in the middle of the night to save Jodie Foster.
Fuck, it's been too long since I've seen Taxi.
During the day is like, yeah, that's when he's staking out that presidential candidate's office because he wants to kill him, and when he's trying to like get a job there, or when he's like, hey, we should go on a date, and he takes her to a porno theater. That's all during the day.
See, that's why I keep you around.
So whatever. No, I like it. I wanted to watch Good Time because I didn't catch it last year and it's on Prime now. Just because everyone's like Pattinson's one of like maybe more deserving of an acting nom than some of the people that were up. So
yeah, you see that. So on to Coherence. How'd you dig that? Really, I fucking love this movie.
I know you do. I don't even know. I don't care. Like, this movie came out like 3 or 4 years ago. I heard about it when it was premiering. I've just been putting it off forever because it's one of those titles that you always forget about. Like, you're like, oh yeah, this low budget indie sci-fi movie, and then I forget about it because why wouldn't I? So like, if you haven't seen it or you want, like, regardless, if you're listening to this, there's no way to talk about this movie without spoiling everything. So I'm just throwing that there at the start. You can start with a simple tagline, like a group of middle-aged friends, or all early 30s to some look like they're in the late 40s. Dinner party at what's obviously like a California house. A comet goes by and then stuff happens. That's literally the smallest log line you can get. The problem I have with the movie is that it goes from a fun like puzzle box to an impenetrable labyrinth. Like, I think it just twists in on itself too many times.
Yeah. This was the Cloverfield Paradox movie. Like, this was that sci-fi movie that I wanted.
And literally, that's why I remember this movie, because, like, people were talking about fucking Cloverfield Project, and this movie title came up as better idea. Like, a very smaller budget that works on some similar ideas that's better. And I was like, oh, yeah, that movie I forgot about. Let's watch it, finally. I think, like I said, there's points when like I feel the narrative becomes too obfuscated, like it's hiding too much. Like the scene where when they go to check the car window breaks, right? And they all go out to check to see what happened, and they're checking their cars. Then she comes back into the house and they're doing the number thing, and she realizes she's in the wrong reality. I was like, oh shit, she's in the wrong reality. But then she's like, Mike, we're in the wrong reality. 4 of us are still. I was like, you all were separated and you came in late. Why couldn't it have just been you? Why are we now trying to say half the group's the same and half the group's not? And it's too much.
It was wild when it kicked off at that point, and then like she realized what had happened and how many different. Like I figured it was just the two different houses, and then you realize it's an infinite loop that like, fuck it, go find the life you want to live kind of thing, and then fucking gets pretty wild at that point.
It reminded me, at least like, aesthetically, of like Primer. This like super low budget sci-fi, very very heady ideas, but told in a grounded way. The problem with that is like, I think I can relate to the characters in Primer. I'm invested in them more, that I want to try and figure it out. It's a puzzle box movie in the same way, and kind of works with some of the same themes. And like, but I like the characters more. Like, I didn't give enough of a shit about any of these people to want to like maybe give this a second watch to decipher some more things. Like, it didn't grab me in that way. I think one of the problems is the same problem I have had for years with like kind of the indie and the mumblecore movement of, they think this idea of everyone talking at once is more realistic, and it drives me crazy because it's just noise that drowns out everything. And I absolutely hate that as a filmmaking technique. Yes, I do understand people talk, but also like, not
never heard that. Never realized that was a thing till right now, and now I hate it just as much.
Yeah, go watch some fucking early Mark Duplass movies and stuff. You'll see a fucking lot of it, where it's just like, okay, we have our actors in a room, we have a general idea of starting point, end point. No, everyone just talk, just riff. Let's all just talk and riff and be real. And it's like, fuck you. It's a movie, and I know it's a movie. Give me narrative cohesion. Because even from a filmmaking standpoint, if you're doing this talk at a dinner of these 8 or 9 people hanging out, you can have background noise at a different level than the dialogue that's actually pertinent, and that's what you focus on, instead of just, we're mixing it all the same and everyone's overlapping, and you're gonna fucking, also we have one camera, so there's no coverage, and I'm only looking at this person, but there's 7 other people off screen talking. Like, it drives me crazy as a filmmaking technique.
That's awesome. No, I learned something tonight. That's awesome.
But no, and it's sad that I didn't feel enough to want to go try and figure more out, because there's a point that I'm not sure if it's me extrapolating too much or if it's something maybe there. But obviously, like, there's an infinite amount of realities happening, but they're also happening out of sync with each other. For like a lot of the first half of the movie, it's like these events are almost coherently happening at the same time. Like, the first 2 guys leave, and they talk about how they were banging on a door, and when they were doing it, there was a bang on the door here. But then you realize stuff like, well, this group had already done, the box, so they'd already been that further ahead that they figured that out. And then the reality she chooses at the end is obviously before any of it had happened. Like, the fracturing hadn't happened at all yet. It was still, they hadn't lost their power. It was a perfect night. Everyone was hanging out. So time obviously moves different. So I was thinking, like, fuck, could it be like, remember at the beginning of the movie when they're talking about how Amir's bringing Lori or whatever, and the dude can't remember her? He's like, I don't remember her at all. Who is this? Who we talking about? And then when she comes to the dinner and he's like, I was on every episode of Roswell. And she's like, I love Roswell and I don't know who you are. You were never on that show. It's like, were they already people from different realities stuck in right at the beginning?
Man, that's trippy. I dug it though. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's okay. Like,
I felt like it wrapped everything up by the end, that it was satisfying enough.
Like I said, it reminds me a lot of Primer, which is a movie that I like a lot more, and maybe that's detrimental to my viewing of it.
Sure. What was the one that we watched that was by the same guys as Primer.
Oh, Upstream Color
That's the one.
with the worms.
Mm-hmm. That was something else.
Upstream Color
I think I'm more suited for that style of movie now.
Fair. Upstream Color is a lot different than Primer, but both of them are really good in their own ways.
Nice. So, you want to talk about the Granddaddy?
Granddaddy? Is that what we're calling it?
The best movie of the MCU?
I gotta
Black
let
Panther?
it sit for a little bit. I'm not sure I'm ready to make such pronouncements yet, but
That's fair.
it's really good.
It's really good. I fucking love it.
It's really
it was
good.
hovering around. You go.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's really good, but I'm not sure really how this discussion is gonna go because I don't know how to talk about the movie, and I've been struggling with that for like 3 days now. So,
I have been doing the same. I've had people initiate the conversations where I just go along with it, but I think the takeaways were that Coogler knocked it out of the park because not only did he make women on like equal footing as all the men, but they're still the strongest and fiercest that I've seen in the MCU so far. Like this from his general that just keeps sticking out in my mind that like hasn't been shown that level of strength in the MCU yet.
yeah.
And I mean, she was on equal footing as the king, so.
Yeah, no, like
I was so scared I started this conversation that you were gonna just hate it.
No, God no. Okay. Like I don't remember if it was on a past show or an after show when we were talking. But I basically was saying like I was hyped for Black Panther and I'm excited to see what they do in Infinity War, but then I'm kind of like not I don't feel that level of excitement coming from MCU movies anymore. And again, here's where I'm going to contradict myself when I was talking about that Electric Dreams episode. I think I'm hard pressed to believe that like this is a Marvel Disney movie because of how topical and resonant the themes and discussions it brings up are. To the point where I'm pissed that it took 18 movies for them to finally get to this point. And I'm also upset that like I don't know how many more movies it is before I get back to that point. Cause like after seeing this, guess what I don't want to see? A giant Pez dispenser being thrown at somebody. Sorry, you kind of lost me there, Marvel, when you showed me like the ideas and the very powerful message that you can put out with these films to go back to being like, well, we're kind of just an assembly line and we want to have fun. Like you can do more and be better and fucking do it. Like, I don't know.
I think at this level in the game, actually picking directors they trust with the projects that are doing what they want and having very little say from, well, they're having guidance for the path that they're on, but for the most part, they're able to do with what they want, which is what, like, I think it all changed with Edgar Wright. I think he was given enough of a leash, and then he wanted a little bit more, and then he couldn't get it, and then he just left the project. And I think that's where it kind of like, we kind of have to trust the people that we get for these projects.
Well, and this is the first time though that I feel the tone is more the filmmaker than the studio. Like, yeah, the Guardians movies are James Gunn movies. I can feel it, but I feel they're James Gunn doing Marvel movies. I feel Ragnarok has that aesthetic of a Taika film, but it's still Taika doing a Marvel film. Whereas this just feels wholly different than anything else.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, I totally agree. But we get Infinity War next time, and that's Russo brothers that did Civil War, which we're probably going to get that same style of movie where it feels very generic Marvel, but I mean, fucking awesome still. Then we get Wasp and Ant-Man, right?
Yeah, Wasp and Ant-Man, and then when you roll into next year, it's Captain Marvel, Avengers 4, and then Spider-Man.
Who's doing Wasp and Ant-Man?
That's this year.
I know, but who's directing it?
Yeah. So yeah, like
No.
in the end, when you talk, like, yeah, I'm cool with like the 2-part Avengers film because that's what we've spent a decade building to.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, I liked Homecoming, but I don't feel it's gonna, like, I don't know. It's just, it's weird to, like I said, see this very important film come out of the studio, and then what you see the rest of the lineup coming is back to this kind of regressive tone.
It's fair. I think Captain Marvel stands a chance, but not nearly as important as this film is. Like, this is something special. Like,
it is, and
that
like
can't be quantified.
I get that, like, it's the, like, Captain Marvel will be the first Marvel female superhero. Obviously, we've already got Wonder Woman from DC in this current batch, so it's not the first like this is. But I feel like they're already tempering expectations on Marvel with their being like, well, Nick Fury's gonna have a big role in it because like I'm not sure they feel like up to that challenge yet. Whereas this, it's just like there's no disconnecting what like this is, as you know, what it is a statement for Black characters and this Afrofuturist idea, and the like, I mean, outside of a quick trip to South Korea, this movie takes place entirely in Wakanda. It's self-contained within this African nation. Like, it's insular, but also, I don't know. It's just the tone. I don't think. How do I say this without being regressive towards women? I'm excited for a female-led character, but I don't think you can insulate it the way this does in tone and story. So.
See that? I mean, obviously we get in Wasp too, but yeah, all the characters were so like necessary. Like, there wasn't, I can't think of any character that was shown that had a part, but they were all equal to each other. Like,
see, I'll fight you on that point. Like, I think everyone's really good in the movie. I feel that and it's nothing against him, like, the dude from Get Out is really good in it, but his character is nothing more than a piece to move back and forth in the script with no real motivation. You know, it's like
up until the fight, I'd agree with you, but when he stares down the general and they're clearly in love, but like, he almost gives her an ultimatum, like, either take me or side with me type of situation, and she never backed down. Like, that was one of the strongest moments in the whole movie for me.
I agree, but I feel that's more on her than him. Like, if you look at his character arc of the film, it's, hey, T'Challa, we're best friends. Oh, on the first mission out to get Claw, you didn't get him? Guess what? Now I'm going to support your rival and a fucking outsider, and I'm going to start war with Wakanda until I'm not. Like, it's just, the character isn't fleshed out enough to make his choices resonate the way I feel they probably should.
That's fair. That's fair. Cherie was a standout for me. I think on message boards lit up. Like, I have artist friends that were doing fan art of her as Riri, and like, just blew my mind. I was like, that's a movie I want now.
Why?
And then we were talking about it.
Okay, well, I think it's, how do I want to say it? Cool. Okay. Yeah. Great. Do your fan art and stuff. But like, I think it's more important within her actual character within the comics that when T'Challa fails, she steps up and becomes Black Panther and ruler of Wakanda. I feel that's much more interesting than I made a suit of iron.
Now that'd be awesome. No, talking about her being Riri, and nobody wanted that because she would be better suited in this mentor role, like inspiring the next person that would become Riri. And then she would not only have that mentor role, but she would easily be able to step into that role of Black Panther too, if needed.
So here's my problem with Shuri, and that's that I think the film writes and plays her as much younger than I believe she is. Like, as far as I can tell, the actress is in her mid-20s, and she's playing like an 18-year-old, but she's written like she's like 15. Yeah. You know, like.
Yeah, I saw early 20s.
Yeah, apparently in the movie she's like 17 or 18 canonically within the movie. Huh. And like I said, I feel the way they write her and they talk about, like, I get like in actually I don't, because at this point, like, Wakanda is really explored, but like I feel there's some throwaway things that don't quite, like, you know, when like the council, which has women and men on it, so obviously gender isn't a huge dividing factor in this country, but they make a big deal of like, why are we letting our scientific stuff be researched by such a little girl? Like, which I feel as a line would play more if she was younger. Because again, I feel like the way they wrote her is like a Riri type character, where she's this like 14-year-old prodigy, just the way she acts and everything.
That makes sense. Yeah. Movie's awesome. And to take place literally right after Civil War, when we've had so much happen between there and there, it was just such a nice kickback. And like,
because in the point, like the MCU really hasn't moved forward since Civil War.
It's true.
Because remember, even Homecoming took place like 8 months after. Not even that long, was it? It was like,
but see, this
it started with Civil War, and then it was like 6 months later or something.
Yeah.
So like the whole of MCU hasn't moved forward.
Months, but this one took maybe a week.
What's that?
But this one took maybe a week, so it's like a week after Civil War, where Spider-Man's already jumped forward half a year.
True, but I'm saying, like, at this point, the MCU really hasn't moved forward.
Granted, yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the movie again. T'Challa did great. I think the Korea fight scenes, like when I was talking earlier that the general was on the same footing, like when she's tackling cars too with just her spear, like showing them on equal grounds, like that's what I really enjoyed the most. Like,
yeah, no, she's out there with no special powers doing the same stuff T'Challa is. I guess if I had a few quibbles with the film, I think the CG is really bad in this movie. Like, obtrusively stands out bad.
Like where?
Like anytime you see Panther doing anything, like when it's a full CGI model, like it really stands out. So like most of the stuff he's doing in Korea, it has that rubbery ragdoll effect where it just doesn't look real.
Yeah, I guess.
And the main battle at the end between the Wakandans when the rhinos and shit come in, like it's, and then the end fight between T'Challa and Killmonger, like it's CGI suits, like it just stands out. And then like coming out of Creed, I was kind of disappointed. Like the action is kind of muddled. Like it's the fight, like the hand to hand fight stuff is kind of it's shot frenetic and cut to shit, which is really surprising coming from Creed. And then I feel like the third act, like big stuff that Marvel obviously has to throw in, is more resonant in this film because it's Wakandans battling for the future of Wakanda and what they want to do. But it still kind of gets a little bigger than I want it to be. Like at this point, like we're on the cusp of Infinity War. Like you can't get bigger. You've reached the point. You now need to learn how to scale these movies back down and tell smaller personal stories. And it can't always be, we need to save the world, this big thing. Like, I think, like I said, I understand it, but the whole, like, when you reach the point where it's like, Ross, you need to fucking take these 3 ships down, because if they get out there, then the world's gonna fucking get all these weapons, and we need to stop that. And, like, it's a little bigger than it needs to be, I suppose. Yeah, so minor quibbles. That said, before we wrap up, we definitely need to get into the one thing we haven't talked about yet, and that's Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What'd you think about him?
Brilliant. Such a good performance. The way you watch when he's interacting with, like, Claw and the people he's working with at the beginning, and how he has this, like, it's this very, like, casual cocksureness to himself, but when he comes up against his real enemies, like T'Challa, and it's just this righteous anger burns out from within him. Outside of, like, a little point where I think it could have worked a little better, it's how do I want to say it? It's revelatory in a movie where they're doing so much different than what we're used to. Like when you look at T'Challa, he's not the dithering, I don't want to be a hero, why is this foisted upon me? You know, it's someone who picks his mantle up because that's where he needs to be. It's what he needs to do. There's no, like, I need to sell weapons and then realize it was bad so that I can be a good guy like Iron Man.
He did have that moment with his dad where he was he didn't know what to do, and then he said that he's been training for this since he's been born.
But like I said, that's different than, you know, like, the T'Challa was always going to be this, and that's what he's worked towards, as opposed to, say, like, you know, the characters who were mired in tragedy, and that's the only reason they become this. Like, guess what? T'Challa was always going to be Black Panther. If the Waynes weren't killed, there would be no Batman. You know, there's a difference between this kind of this destiny that's foisted upon you versus what you take yourself. So it's different, especially in the mold of, like, the Marvel movies, where, like, it really feels like these people are kind of quippers and rogues, and they're not quite heroes, and until, like, it's foisted upon them. Somebody who's like, this is who I am and how to be from the beginning. But it's also fucking shocking to see a movie where, like, it goes, yeah, the bad guy was right. We just need to find a less murdery way to do what he wants to do, but he was right. You know?
Yeah. It was interesting to see that they reached the same conclusion, except knowing Killmonger was a madman, that he had to have the throne back for himself. So,
like,
I didn't think Killmonger was that good of a villain compared to the other. Like, I still hold Loki as my favorite.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not saying he's bad by any means. Like, he's probably second or third, but to me, his character was so well written that I didn't realize the villainy to him, I guess. So I'm looking forward to seeing it a couple more times and actually, like, paying attention to him a little bit more.
like, um, I feel like I would have liked it if fuck, what's her name? Nakia or whatever.
Not yeah, yeah.
Like, if she hadn't been proposing, like, we need to open Wakanda and share our borders and stuff, like, if she hadn't been proposing that, and it was always what Killmonger brought in, it would have been, like, much more resonant. Like I said, the idea that he is right. His methods are wrong, but what he wants to do is right. But the way that his methods appear wrong is wholly within line of the idea of a closed off Wakanda. Like, sure, T'Challa wants to, at the end, open the borders and share all this technology and make the world better, but he also didn't live with the racial injustices that Killmonger saw every day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he doesn't have, like, this anger that Killmonger brings to it.
Well, yeah, it's the nature versus nurture type thing. Also, this movie looks fucking gorgeous. Like, the colors, everything about it. Like, the midnight on the astral plane, like, type thing where it was, like, dark purples and blues for the night sky. Like, some of the most gorgeous scenery in the MCU so far.
Yeah, no, it's really, really good. Like, all the way through. And like I said, it's disgustingly relevant in this day and age right now. Yeah. But it's also like it moved me more than I thought it would to, like, have a fictional character who is a minority come out and, like, expose and expound upon everything that's wrong with our society today that the vast majority of non-people of color can't come to. The idea that, like, we have to be one tribe if we want to survive. We can't build walls. We need to fucking build bridges to each other to survive and get to where we need to be as a people. And to have this strong, confident minority character say that in the face of every fucking day I hear our president tell us the exact opposite is, like, moving to a point that I didn't think I would feel in a Marvel movie.
When we started the MCU run 8 years ago, I never thought we'd be at this point, and I'm so grateful we are. It also harkens back to when we started watching Black Lightning, and where it was that Batman dichotomy where could you do better if you're out there punching people in the face every night or actually helping shape minds, and where that left me where they were setting up the outreach centers. I was like, fuck yeah, like, building the world up is a better way to help everybody get better. You're still going to have the terrible people that are on the outside, but, I mean, helping others only helps us all out, so.
Yeah.
This is dope. If you haven't seen it and you watched through this far, go fucking see it.
Yeah, no, it's good. And plus, like, there was a point where, like, what was it? Like, Marvel feels so so Teflon. Like, it really doesn't have any, like, these ideas and themes that really stick, you know, like, sure, Captain America kind of briefly touches on, like, government surveillance and how much power we give to other people to keep us safe, but it doesn't quite do anything about it. Whereas, like I said, this movie is very approaching its themes. But there's also stuff where, like, you know, like in Iron Man 3, he said the word pussy to a kid, and you're like, oh man, I can't believe they get away with that. But, like, the version of that is fucking Killmonger's last line in this movie, where I was like, oh shit, he said that? Like, oh my god. Like, I wouldn't see, like, a mainstream movie being able to have a person drop that line as opposed to, like, a Marvel Disney joint. Like, so, like, fucking kudos to you. You guys did it once, and it made all the monies, so maybe you can do it again. You know, like, work
Hopefully.
on this.
I hope Coogler comes back for Black Panther too.
Oh, apparently everything I see is everyone's like, he has it if he wants it. It's all up to him.
Fucking A, man.
Cool.
It's good talk. I liked it.
Yeah, that's good.
So what are we watching for next week then?
Next week, what do I got on my docket here? We'll continue Alienist and Mosaic. We are dropping Electric Dreams, which means that we can start our Legion watch to get ready for season 2.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we'll start with episode 1 of Legion, a show that I've already seen twice through, I think, when I'm ready to go through a third time. That's how much I need you to love this show.
Nice.
Second half of the first season of Tick drops this weekend, so we're catching that. Mute on Netflix, Duncan Jones' new movie, and then Annihilation is our theatrical.
I don't know if I'm getting Annihilation. I'll probably be getting Game Night.
I can't see two movies this weekend, but that said, you need to see Annihilation. Like, I've read the book. I'm going to tell you need to see Annihilation.
I will make it a point to see it then.
Good.
Yeah, so that'll be next week. So catch all that shit, and we'll catch you on Twitch probably next week. So
maybe. We'll see.
Peace out.
Later.
I do the pineapples now.